For some teams, by this point, their offseason has already begun, leaving GMs with a chance to examine their rosters for potential upcoming changes. And along with those changes will likely be trades and/or signings. Since the NHL free agency period is now less than 2 months away, I thought there was no better time to look ahead a little at some moves we could see happen. And with that, here are 4 NHL players who could be on new teams by next season. As soon as the Pittsburgh Penguins season came to a close, the focus immediately fell on the remaining 3, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Kris Letang. The trio currently holds a record for the most consecutive seasons played together in league history with 16. However, after winning 3 cups as a group, many are speculating not really if, but when they'll be broken up, as both Letang and Malkin are pending UFAs, meaning that they could both walk here shortly into free agency. Interestingly, Penguins insider and writer for The Athletic, Rob Rossi, indicated that both Malkin and Letang were indeed offered 3-year deals, each valued at $15 million a while back, but the pair wasn't interested. Letang, who's really been aging like fine wine on ice, has been at 35 years of age, playing some of his best hockey yet. Last season, the defenseman notched a career high in points with 68. Therefore, it's likely that he'll be offered contract amounts that Pittsburgh won't be able to match. Even though we have talked about the possibility of Letang returning to his home province to play for Montreal, there's another team that's been presented here recently that very well could have interest. According to multiple sources, including Elliot Friedman's 32 Thoughts podcast, Letang's name has been connected to the Seattle Kraken. While there haven't been any legitimate leads from the Kraken organization on Letang specifically, Seattle's GM Ron Francis has said that he'll be looking for a top-pairing offensive defenseman to sign this summer. According to Cap Friendly, the team only has $59.6 million invested in 14 players currently for next season. Therefore, if Francis did want to offer Letang, say, $8.5 or $9 million a season, it would definitely be doable. Ever since GM Billy Guerin made the choice to buy out both Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, other big changes have been expected to transpire in Minnesota. Besides Matt Dumba and Marc-Andre Fleury, Kevin Fiala is yet another big name that's been in the rumor mill now for quite some time. After playing at a point-per-game pace last season, Fiala was able to record a career best in points with 85. For Minnesota, the time of their cap crunch, Fiala's extraordinary season, and his contract predicament all will be likely ingredients that will allow for him to sign elsewhere. Fiala, who is coming off of a 1-year, $5.1 million deal, will be an attractive piece for teams that are looking for weapons for their top 6. Even though the Ottawa Senators have been tied to the forward now for quite some time, another team that's recently emerged as a possible suitor for Fiala is the New Jersey Devils. The Devils, who have had their fair share of first-round selections over the years, are probably at a place now where they'd be willing to trade some of their top picks in exchange for prime talent. For Fiala, not only would he be given the opportunity to make some more money, but also to potentially play with the Swiss Nico Hischier on the second line. As we all know, last-minute trades do occasionally happen at the draft, involving players who are pending free agents, meaning that the team is granted their signing rights. For GM Tom Fitzgerald, this isn't out of the realm of possibility. According to Wild insider Michael Russo, the GM has already said he's open to trading the second overall pick if the right piece becomes available. Recently, I made a video going over the Toronto Maple Leafs' devastating loss against Tampa Bay this playoffs, and in doing so, I touched on the possibility of longtime Leaf William Nylander being traded. Even though it's looking like Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe will be staying another season, changes have to be on the horizon for the team. Justin Holl and Peter Mrazek seem like safe choices to be shipped out of Toronto at this point. Outside of that, Jake Muzzin and William Nylander both could be bigger pieces that are traded. Knowing that Dubas has 7 players to sign and only $8.1 million to do so with, the potential for Nylander to be moved has never been higher. Coming off of a very productive season offensively, the forward finished with 80 points in 81 games played and finished 3rd in team scoring. But unlike Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, who did notch more points, Nylander has a much more team-friendly, affordable contract. Another team that's looking for a shake-up is the New York Islanders. Following a season riddled with disappointment, Lou Lamoriello is going to be looking to bring in some fresh talent to help Matt Barzal up front. Nylander, who recorded 34 goals and 46 assists last campaign, has demonstrated an ability to set up plays and finish them as well. Knowing that the Islanders have been starving for offense now for quite some time, it does seem like a fit at first glance for number 88. And lastly, we'll be heading back to the Twin Cities to close things out. As I mentioned before, the Wild definitely have a rough road ahead of them cap-wise, as they will have $12.7 million of dead cap on their books next campaign. Knowing that, they will have to make some tough choices. As I mentioned, one of the players that could be expendable for the team is Marc-Andre Fleury. Even though he did have a rather short stint with the team, Flowers' record wasn't terrible considering. The netminder, who went 9-2 on the regular season after relocating to Minnesota, finished with a cumulative .902 save percentage while playing for the Hawks and Wild. At 37 years of age, Fleury has proven that he can still be relied upon in net. And even though he and fellow netminder Cam Talbot had a great relationship as a tandem, the Wild may not be able to afford what it would cost to keep Fleury in the end. Even though Fleury, who's coming off of a 3-year, $21 million contract he signed in Sin City, could agree to a pay cut of say $3 or $4 million for a season, having close to $7 or $8 million going to the position and goal alone between Talbot and Fleury might be more than Guerin wants to spend. Knowing that there are much cheaper options available regarding backup goalies, Fleury might be allowed to walk come free agency. With that being said, one team that's continuously been tied to the Flowers since he left is the Pittsburgh Penguins. NHL insider Elliotte Friedman recently spoke on the possibility of Fleury making a return to the Steel City. In his 32 Thoughts podcast, Friedman said he believes that Fleury declined the opportunity to go to the Washington Capitals last deadline because he still had the intent to return to the Burgh. Knowing that Penguins backup Casey DeSmith is a pending UFA, this could give way for an opportunity for Fleury to return to where it all began. Even though they do have Tristan Jarry already as their solidified number 1, changing up the tandem to a 1A-1B pairing could be the logical way to go.